right. Welcome to the Stand-Up Guys, a very special edition of 5 Minute Fights. I am Patrick Robles, and he is
Edge Brown.
All right. And for those of you who don't want to watch this kind of extended version, we will link in the descriptions with a timestamp. And for those of you who just want to do it old school manually, about the 19-minute mark is where this fight is going to start. But we really hope you'll be with us, and we're going to really talk about this. What you are looking at right now is the original broadcast, where if you went to go see this at a theater, if you're lucky enough to somehow get it at home, which you weren't, this is what they had. So Edge, where did you see this?
I saw this fight in the Odeon Theatre in New Street, Birmingham, England. I can't believe it was 40 years ago. Seems like yesterday, but this time has passed. Back then everything was on closed-circuit TVs. There was no pay-per-view that you could get at home. You had to go to a theater, pay an entrance fee, and watch the fights live. Yeah,
and also what would happen is something like this would just be rebroadcast a week later, 2 weeks later. But yeah, if you wanted to see it live, you had to do closed circuit, and I believe there was something like 1,200 closed circuit locations around the world, or maybe just in the U.S., I don't know, but it was everywhere.
Yeah, but this fight was actually that big. I mean, I've saw the fights before. I saw a Sugar Ray Leonard fight and Larry Holmes versus Jerry Cooney fight, and they didn't have a closed circuit in Birmingham, England. I had to travel to London to get it on closed circuit. But this fight was that big that they had it in major cities in England, which was unusual at the time.
So are you ready for when I saw this fight?
Yes, let me know.
I didn't see it for about 3 years until after it happened. The night it happened, boxing was so big back then. You know, when something important's going on, you got the like a little earthquake or something, there's little streamers. They had little streamers going on live, like, hey, this is going on. Somehow I missed the rebroadcast, and back then you missed the rebroadcast. That was it. No YouTube, no internet. I believe I saw it first time probably in 1988. I can tell you by 1990, I had my own VHS copy of this, which I just wore out watching.
Yeah, I think when it was rebroadcast on TV in England, I taped it on the VHS and I had my copy of it. And I've watched this fight numerous times since then, not only on VHS, but on YouTube.
And we can say at this time in 1985, this was a huge, huge fight. Obviously, we are now familiar with the Four Kings. These guys had been circling each other for a while. They were actually supposed to fight, I think, 1 or 2 years earlier, and it got canceled.
Yes.
And Marvin Hagler was none too pleased that it got canceled. There was legitimate bad blood between these two.
Yeah, I think because Marvin Hagler, actually, everybody knows he came up the hard way. He had to have multiple fights before he even got a title shot. And here he's fighting Alan Minter in England when he actually did win the world title. And I don't know if they'll show you, but
after he won.
Yeah,
here it is. This is him winning the title, and he's just getting. He's getting showered with garbage. It was awful.
Yeah, and he was very upset at that. He said he had to leave like a thief in the middle of the night. So yeah, and this is him beating up on Mustafa Hamsho, who was a tough Syrian fighter.
Was this a rematch? This one?
This looks like the rematch. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did fight twice.
Mm-hmm.
But Hagler wanted obviously the big money fights, which at that time was Sugar Ray Leonard was the biggest money, Roberto Duran and Tommy Hearns, and he had a hard time getting either one of them in the ring, which he did eventually, but it took him a long while.
And so he had fought Duran, and Duran took him to 15 rounds, and Hearns had also fought Duran, which if you look on our YouTube channel, and if you're watching this, you're on our YouTube channel, we covered when Hearns fought Duran, and Hearns absolutely steamrolled Duran.
He took him out in 2 rounds, so, you know, and I think they had another mutual opponent, was that Mark Giraldo, that they fought that went the distance with Hagler and went the distance with Leonard, but Tommy Hearns took him out in 1 round.
Yeah, so there, you can never totally tell between two fighters just because one guy fought this guy one way, but it also can be an indication. And so I think this is the second Mustafa Hamsho fight they're showing right here.
Yeah, that was the second one. Yeah,
which didn't last too long. So as I was saying before, it's not always an indicator. Common opponents, because styles make fights, etc. But this was just something that people were looking at, like, wow, because that was their one common opponent. Hagler had not fought Sugar Ray Leonard yet. Sugar Ray Leonard was actually retired at this point.
Yeah, so this was actually the biggest fight available to me. Both of them had fought Duran. Leonard was inactive, so obviously Hagler and Hearns was really, really much anticipated fight. Yeah,
it was huge, and apparently they had done like a huge press tour, even though they didn't need to. You're still going to promote it. And early on, Hagler got the private jet and Hearns got, I don't know, the non-private jet, and they were supposed to switch halfway through, and they didn't. So there was that sort of thing. They were really getting tired of, you would get tired of seeing anyone like in 21 different cities or whatever. So
yeah, the bad blood starts to creep in, and Hearns, who didn't really talk a lot during the build-up to this fight, he became very talkative, and I think he upset Marvin Hagler with all the talking he was doing before the fight, and he was exhibiting all this confidence, and so Hagler was pretty angry going into this fight.
Yep, and Hearns going into this fight had one loss and one loss only. They just showed it was Sugar Ray Leonard. Beyond that, he had just been, just rolling through people, like anytime.
Yeah, Hearns, his first 32 fights, he won 30 by knockout. So he was one of the most feared punchers in boxing. Yeah,
and he was moving up for this. Had he fought at middleweight before? I don't remember.
Yeah, he had a couple of fights at middleweight before this. So he went up. He won the light middleweight title, junior middleweight title, and then he went to heavyweight. He moved to middleweight, and he had a couple of fights at middleweight as well, setting up this fight.
And then Hagler, just straight middleweight, made one of the all-time great middleweights, and he was just one of the guys. I don't know how many title defenses he had, but he defended that title a lot of different times.
Yeah, I think he had around 20 defenses, right? I think he had the record until Bernard Hopkins.
Yeah, Bernard Hopkins beat his record.
So
Hagler wasn't moving up, wasn't moving down. He's like, I'm a middleweight. Come see me.
Yeah, and back then, guys did call each other out. If they thought you were the best, they were coming looking for you, which is what Tommy Hearns did for Hagler.
All right, so this was like, if I remember, this was a quick fight, Hearns versus Hutchins. Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, like these two guys were just both destined to run into each other and circling each other for a while, and this was a big fight. This, when we finally watch it, I want to say for a fight this big, this is probably one of the best fights ever, like and certainly the best first round ever.
Yeah, I think in the modern generation of fighting, this is the best one. I mean, you get a lot of these fights get built up against two champions, and it's highly anticipated, and it doesn't live up to the anticipation. This one more than lived up to the anticipation. He exceeded it by miles and miles.
Yeah, Bob Arum promoted this, and Bob Arum said this was, of all the fights he ever promoted, this was the best one ever.
Yeah, and I like that they just called it the fight because it didn't need any real big blowing up and calling it some special name. They just called it the fight.
And there was actually, later on, Hagler fought Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard was ringside at this fight, and after it was over, Sugar Ray Leonard said, and I quote, "If ever I needed a reason to stay retired, Hagler Hearns was it."
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Well, you see, Hagler's wearing his hat with war on it, and he said that the fight was going to be a war, and he wore his hat in the build-up to the fight, and in fact, it did turn out to be a war.
Yeah, and we should note, at this point, his official, lawful name was Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Yes. That was a big thing for him, because I think at some point they wouldn't call him Marvelous or something like that.
One announcer said he had to be called by your legal name, and wouldn't call him Marvelous Marvin Hagler. So he went to deed poll and changed his name to Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Yes. So we'll probably just call him Hagler, but it is Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And was Hearns the Hitman by now, or was he
was
still
a Hitman? Yeah,
because he started off as the Motor City Cobra.
Yeah. He was a cobra with his length as well. I mean, that right hand was like a snake. Getting bitten by a snake.
So we got Al Michaels and Al Bernstein, and Al Bernstein's still around doing
still
TV.
around, yeah, still doing covering boxing.
My God, kind of looks the same too.
He does, yes.
I guess when you don't dye your hair.
And this fight as well was at Caesar's Palace outside, which all the big fights were in Vegas back then. Were at Caesar's Palace.
Yeah, we should know that Caesar's Palace was just the spot. I guess now it would be
MGM.
Yeah, MGM Grand or whatever.
And T-Mobile, but back then it was the big fight. It was Caesar's Palace.
Okay, so old guy alert here. These guys are walking to the ring. No rappers. No pyrotechnics. They just come to the ring. Yeah, they got a little posse with them, but I'm a big fan of just walking to the ring. You know?
Yeah, they just come to fight. In fact, Hearns had a really big posse. Hagler just had his two guys, I think.
The Petronellis.
Yeah, the Petronelli brothers. That were his trainers. But in fact, Emmanuel Stewart said before he died that one thing that upset him with this fight is he came into the change room and one of the followers was giving Hearns
a massage
of his legs.
Yeah.
And he got upset because actually a massage actually works the muscles, so it'll actually tire you out. And that upset him very much coming into the fight.
Yeah, we should also add we've done 2 5-minute fights already, 2 of Hearns' fights, and both those fights, it's Pepino Cuevas and Roberto Duran. He won. He won convincingly. So this will be our first Hearns fight. Well, spoiler alert.
Yeah,
he didn't win.
He didn't win convincingly.
Yeah,
but he's always a very confident fighter. Tommy Hearns, really good. I mean, training the famous Kronk Gym with Emmanuel Stewart. At that time, Hearns and Il McKenty were his first 2 champions, and then after that they just kept on churning out champions.
Yeah, and once again, Emmanuel Stewart can't be more. Him and Hearns were more or less the same age. Maybe
I think Emmanuel Stewart probably a couple of years older, but
Emmanuel Stewart couldn't be more than like 27, 20. I don't even think Emmanuel Stewart's 30 here. Yeah, we'd have to check, but yep. So yeah, there they are, stepping in the ring, Caesar's Palace. 1985, and you're going to see Marvelous Marvin Hagler basically just run to the ring here. Yeah,
I looked at his record, 40-1 with 34 KOs.
Yeah,
that's very, very impressive. The only loss coming to the great Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yep, and also I always get just confused. Super welterweight, junior middleweight,
it's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. the supers and the juniors always.
I fought in that division, so I know it very well.
Okay, and just real quick, if you are watching this on a flat screen TV, you'll notice the video quality isn't best for the actual fight. We up the video quality, so it actually will improve if you're watching this on a flat screen TV. So just keep with us when the actual fight starts. It's pretty clear. We did some editing magic.
That's good.
Yeah, but this type of stuff we didn't feel like A, we didn't need to have in high definition. B, it's not available in high definition. Yeah. This was hard enough to come by just as is. So
yeah, this has been a while ago. I think back then everybody had a tube TV.
Yep. Well, yeah, and we've talked about this before, but how nice would it be to go back and take all these old fights and just really clear them up and really because you can do it with any video, you can do it with any film, and just really make them look nice. Someone would just want to have like the money and the desire to do it. So yeah, only lost Sugar Ray Leonard. So that was 81. There's 85. So he'd been 4 years without a loss.
Yeah. I mean, Tommy Hearns as well. He fought at welterweight and 147 pounds, and he was actually 6'1".
Mm-hmm.
So coming into this fight, he has the reach over Hagler, who was 5'9".
Right.
So Hearns was always able to move up in weight because of his height. So as he filled out more and put on muscle, he went up in weight pretty easily. So he did welterweight, light middleweight, and then middleweight.
Yeah, so here he comes with the Petronelli brothers, who basically trained him his entire career. Real tight unit. Obviously, their toupee game could use some work, but beyond that, they were a tight unit. They were like a family, and look at it. I mean, Hagler just ready to go.
And the person walking in front of them is Hagler's half-brother, Robbie Sims, who was also a good fighter back then and middleweight contender.
And once again, no rappers, no pyrotechnics, no nothing. We're just coming out to the ring and getting this thing going.
Yeah, back then it was all about business.
Yep.
And so the crowd outside there in Caesar's Palace,
and
completely sold out.
They have no idea what they're about to witness. I mean, now I think everyone anticipated a good fight, and I think everyone anticipated it to kind of be a war. But there's just no way you can anticipate what we're about to see, though.
No, I think as well. I think it started as we'll see, opposite way to what people thought. Mm-hmm. Everybody thought that Hearns would come out fast and not Hagler, and thought Hagler would box more. But unfortunately for us,
yeah,
he didn't. And see Hagler's record: 60 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws. Both those losses and those draws were turned around as well. He went back and beat those people.
And at this time, I think they'll show it on the graphic. He hadn't lost in a long time. Like those losses came early on.
Early in his career, yeah. And one of the draws was to Vito Artefermo when he first fought for the title. And that was a clear robbery.
And look at this: you got a 30-year-old fighting a 26-year-old in a fight like this. It just doesn't happen today. They both got to be 35 now, and all this stuff. So yeah. And by the way, at 26, this was Hearns' second huge fight. Actually, Durant. So his third because he'd already fought Durant. Yeah,
and he fought Wilfredo Benitez.
Yeah.
So you're talking about 4 big fights. So And there's the Marco Giraldo, who went the distance with Hagler, and Hearns KO'd him in 1. And
then was Hagler's previous fight Duran because that was 83, 84. Yeah. Who did they just come off fighting before this?
I'm not sure they came off fighting.
Yeah,
I think Hagler may have been the Duran fight.
Well, no, we like I said, yeah, Durant. Yeah. Alrighty, so we got the introductions. We did edit out the national anthem. We just didn't feel it. It was Doc Severinsen, by the way, from the Tonight Show. He did a trumpet. It was a very haunting trumpet rendition.
Yeah, pretty cool rendition actually.
Yeah. So I'm afraid you all are going to be missing. I'm sure you can find it somewhere on YouTube. Yeah. It was quite haunting, though. It was wonderful.
Yeah, and I think back then Hagler was the first fighter that would shave his head. One of the first few. Him and Ernie Shavers. That was it.
Yeah, you didn't see that. And by the way, no tattoos. That's very rare now too. I mean, look at that. He's beating himself up before the fight. He's ready to go.
Yeah, because the shaved head and the goatee became common practice for fighters after Marvin Hagler.
Yep. So yeah, those were the intros. I think they're going to go to the center of the ring real quick, and we're about to start this thing. Richard Steele, he refereed a lot of great fights.
He did, good referee. He had one controversial fight, I think the Medrick Taylor and Julio Cesar Chavez fight.
Right.
But apart from that, he was a phenomenal referee.
Okay. And we're just going to pause here for 1 second. And welcome those of you who skipped forward. You missed a lot of good stuff. But here we go. 1985, April 15th. Hagler, Hearns, The War. One of the great fights ever. Here we go.
Oh. Hagler comes straight out with a right hook and then a straight left to the body.
And then right here, I think Hearns actually kind of stuns him with a right.
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah,
he stunned him.
Yeah, he actually cut him with that punch as well.
Yeah, and I believe he broke it. I believe he broke his hand as well.
Yeah.
And after this, it's just on. This is crazy.
This is some first round.
Yeah,
they're both swinging with bad intentions. back then it was didn't look like it could go 12 rounds at all.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
And this is just two guys in their prime.
And it's both hard punchers. Even Hearns supposed to be the hardest puncher, and Hagler's just kind of pretty much walking through his punches, which is insane.
Yeah, Hearns already has to be thinking, like, I hit him with my best shot. This is but he's still getting him.
He's still coming. Yeah, Hearns is trying to box a little more now, use a little bit of footwork, but Hagler just wants a phone booth war. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, and the chin on Hagler is just legendary. Yeah. And Hearns even said, like, his head was almost a weapon. Like, to hit him in the head was actually like a mistake.
It's really hard head.
Yeah. But this is crazy for this to be the first round, the first 90 seconds of a fight of this magnitude.
Anyway. Yeah, I think Hearns wasn't anticipating this pace. You can tell that the pace is getting to him already, even though it's the first round.
Nobody should anticipate this pace.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
That's one thing about Tommy Hearns, which people said was negative about him in this fight, in the Sugar Ray fight. He doesn't tie up much. He doesn't really know how to hold. He just swings away when he's in trouble, which...
well, I mean, I just think he had that instinct. As you could see, Hagler's cut here, but the cut never really bothered him. On the broadcast, they thought it was the bridge of the nose. It was actually over the right eye.
Yeah.
And look at him, still going at it. This is still the first frickin' round.
They're going at it, and Hearns getting trapped against the ropes there. So he should tie up, but he's not. He's trying to punch his way out, which, against someone who's like Hagler could be a mistake because... Yeah. He's ferocious.
And Hagler is taking some shots, but like I said, his chin. And then, like, Hearns finally deciding to move. But I think,
he staggered then with a right hand.
Yeah. And he's pretty much not going to recover the rest of the fight. His legs are already gone.
Well, Hagler was a switchy three fight, both southpaw and orthodox. Mm-hmm. I love this stare down. But... he was actually right-handed, so when he was fighting southpaw and he threw that right jab, it caused a lot of damage.
Yeah. Great cut work here. I don't even know what you tell your fighters after this. Just, hey. So, yeah, he hadn't lost in 9 years. You see that graphic there?
Yeah, Willie Monroe.
Yeah. But
Willie the Worm Monroe from Philadelphia.
I mean, what do you say? Hey, don't give up, kid. And you say to Hearns is like, nice job on the massage, tough guy.
Yeah. Well, so the cut is actually in the middle of his head, which is
even better.
Even better, yeah. It's not right above the eye, so on your vision. But
it's not good for the amount of blood, but it's in terms of affecting your vision or anything like that. Oh my goodness.
Hagler's mugging him, isn't he? He's
So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the best first round in middleweight history. And they say maybe the best round in middleweight history.
In boxing history, probably, maybe.
Yeah. And like I said, a fight of this magnitude, easily the best first round. Yeah,
so Hearns coming out in the second round now, trying to do the smart thing, trying to box, use his reach, use that jab. But Hagler's closing the distance really effectively.
Right. And his legs, you'll see kind of later on, you can see right now his legs just aren't quite there, especially for the second round.
Yeah, that kind of pace, it's kind of like when somebody puts a lot of pressure on you like that and you try and fight back that hard, you do gas out a lot, and you can gas out in one round.
Yep.
Hagler turning orthodox now, and not southpaw.
You see the legs. Hearns, I mean, he is landing that jab, but once again, also, this ain't Sugar Ray Leonard, you know?
Nah.
Yeah.
Well, Hagler's not really giving him that much room, and he's trying to, make room and step around using his legs, but that's a lot of work.
Yeah, especially after what you just did in the first round. Normally, in the second round, you're still, after a first round like that, nobody's used to that type of pace.
Yeah, and Hearns as well had a really good amateur career, so he has got the boxing skills, and you can see him here. He's boxing quite effectively, using his legs and trying to use his reach, but Hagler just keeps cutting off the ring and putting pressure on him.
And I don't even know if Hagler has thrown a jab. Every shot is that he lands, it's a power shot.
Yeah.
And if I believe I have the final stats for the fight, Hearns landed 58 of 82, Hagler 56 of 83, and yes, all of Hagler's were power shots.
Yeah.
Yep. And incidentally, your BBC broadcast team was Colin Hart and Ian Darke.
And
yeah,
Ian Darke is famous, still commentating on soccer.
And Colin Hart
he just passed away.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Hearns really is given all he has, but I mean, his reserves are already getting depleted, and Hagler's just starting to settle in.
Yeah, Hearns is trying to box and pick him off, which is, he's doing the right things, but the pressure of Hagler is just too much.
Yeah, look at these.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. In any other contest, this would be a great round.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a great round, but you compare it to the first.
Yeah, well, everything in this round, good boxing, good body punching, good changing levels, everything. But
I mean, there's just no way not to have just massive respect for both these men.
Oh, yeah.
Massive respect. And I mean, and this really is, it's so cliche, but who wants it more? That's what this turns into.
And stare down from Hearns after that round.
Yeah. And yeah, you still got to believe, even though, you could feel everything's not going right, you still got to believe in yourself if you're Hearns. And you're like, hey, I'm going to figure out a way out of this.
Yeah. He's trying to figure out how to box him, how to move against him. And he's got to stay off the ropes is his main problem against Hagler. That's where Hagler puts the most pressure on him. Because, this is only the second round. At this pace, it's a war of attrition at this point.
Yeah. Just looking into the abyss. Then, yep. And once again, really good cut work, even though it's still going to kind of open back up. But really good cut work by the Petronellis.
They're really good trainers as well, but they didn't really have any other great champions.
But as you can see, once again, the toupee game, I can't sign off on that. All right, third round.
I think they were trying to copy Howard Cosell back then.
Exactly. Well, the technology's come a long way, right? Right, so theoretically they would maybe be settling in, and like, okay, maybe let's see what we could do. And even though Hagler's coming after him, I think there is almost like, hey, let's try and settle in and let's not do
trying to box there on his toes, moving around.
And as we'll see momentarily, Richard Steele though inserts himself,
slipping and sliding really well, and he's boxing nicely. Change direction.
But once you can see those legs.
Yeah, they're not quite under him, are they?
Right.
And he's holding now, which is a good thing.
And then Richard Steele takes that long look, time.
Yeah.
And this is where Hagler's like, you will not screw me again.
Yeah.
He was like, you will not screw me over again. And I can see fine. He's like, this will not happen.
The doctor just said then he can see, let it go. So
yeah,
Hagler now is going to turn into the bull.
Yeah, he's like, we're not. You're not stopping this. And poor Tommy he just doesn't have anything left to give. And just a very famous moment.
The right hook, his legs are gone.
And he's already gone here.
Oh, yeah, gone, yeah.
And he's gone.
That shot, he's out.
Oh.
He's totally unconscious right there.
Yeah, you could his eyes are rolled back.
Yeah.
But somehow he still has it in him to get up.
No
one else is getting up from this.
No
one else. And Richard Steele does the right thing.
Oh, he can't walk.
Yeah.
He's like a newborn giraffe.
Oh my God! And congratulations to both of them. And we just witnessed one of the all-time great fights. It's just right up there with anything else you want to name.
Yeah, I can watch his fight again and again. Some fights I watch them a couple of times and that would be it. These fights I never get tired of watching it. It's unbelievable.
I love showing it to people who haven't seen it before, and I'm really hoping someone listening to our voice right now, this was their first time watching it. It's just amazing. And look at how happy he is.
Yeah.
And that's genuine. And it's, look at how small Tommy Hearns looks in this man's arms, you know?
They shouldn't have carried him back to the corner like that. That was a bad look for the end of such a great fight.
Right.
They should have let him go back under his own power.
Right.
But, you know.
And I agree with the too many. You don't need all these people standing over you right now. Way too many people. But, you know, he was, more or less, he was okay after this fight. Obviously, this takes a ton out of both men.
It did, yeah.
But we get to see a few replays. But obviously, Hearns had already taken a lot.
That's our right hook. I said Hagler is right-handed, so even from a southpaw stance, our right hook's got a tremendous amount of power.
Yeah. And he's in trouble right there.
That's it. That one's right on the button. That's full body weight behind it. Eyes roll back. It's
the two right hands even before, and obviously all the damage he had taken already. But
his legs totally betrayed him here.
And it's like, what do you do? Oh, try walk away. Look at
and then you don't see the punch coming. It's
so that's a miss.
Let's say that's the ones that hurt you, the ones you don't see.
Yep. So it was three right hands, and Hagler was just sprinting towards him. He's like, you will not be getting away.
Yeah, he said like with the cut, he said once he saw the red, he turns into a bull.
Yep.
And he did. Yeah, Tommy was trying to fight back.
Even he went down swinging, literally.
Yeah. He's got those instincts all the time. He's a true fighter. Yeah,
so just what an absolute privilege it is to watch this and to see this. And
it's kind of funny that these two in retirement became really good friends.
Yeah, I think you actually, when you go through something like this together, like you have a relationship with that person that you can't have with too many other people. And you've seen that a lot. Gotti and Ward became really good friends too.
Yeah. After you share the ring like that, you do become close.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, whatever animosity you have, it's gone now.
It's all over.
If you have animosity after that, you got some real issues.
Yeah. You let it all out in that fight. Yeah. The pace of that fight was just crazy. I was scheduled for 12 rounds, and they went like it was scheduled for 2. It's absolutely. What
was the atmosphere when you were watching this like?
When I was watching it, there was all the, they had the undercard on.
Yeah.
Everybody watched that. It was pretty excited. Once this first round started, in the theater I was in, no one was sitting down. Everybody was standing up for the whole 3 rounds.
Right, and just cheering and all. Oh, there's Leroy Neiman, no longer with us. Petronelli's Marvin Hagler, no longer with us. By the way, rest in peace, Marvin Hagler. But all-time great. But I just can't even imagine watching this live. And you said it was just 4 a.m. for you?
4 a.m, yes. Okay, time. Okay. But when you get a theater full of people at 4 a.m, it's a fight that people want to see.
For absolutely. And I can't even imagine, people are probably watching this all over the world, even, passing, Oh my goodness. Yeah. I've seen this fight so many times, and I'm still almost exhausted right now having talked about it. Yeah. It just amazes me every time.
You got to be in awe when you watch this fight. It's just two men putting everything on the line.
And by the way, like the cut's already closed.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty amazing too. Yeah. And he has a little mouse under his eye. You barely even looks like you just had a sparring session.
Yeah, it doesn't look beat up at all, does he?
Yeah.
The amount of punches taken from one of the hardest punches in boxing.
Yeah. Well, look, and the Petronellis they're ecstatic too.
Oh yeah,
they couldn't be happier for him.
Well, they met Marvin when he was really young as a kid. He went to work for them in their construction company.
That's right.
And then they started training in boxing. So they had a really, really tight bond, which you don't see a lot now in boxing today, do you?
No, and because someone's trained by their father, or they have as soon as they take one loss, they're firing everyone. And,
the same as Tommy Hearns, him and Emmanuel Stewart, they were inseparable. They had another really tight bond between fighters, which and trainer.
That's actually a really good point. Both these guys, the structure,
it was really good.
They had the same thing. Yeah, very close with their trainers. and associated with their trainers as well. I never really thought of that.
Yeah, that does make a difference. It's you got to type on with your trainer and you really trust him in a fight. It makes a big difference.
All right, so this has been 5-minute fights with the stand-up guys. We want to thank everyone, especially if you joined us for this whole thing. Please subscribe to us across social media at the Stand Up Guys Podcast. Check out our podcasts, and hey, this will be coming out on the 40th anniversary. So happy anniversary to this amazing fight, and respect to both these fighters.
Yeah, April 15th is the anniversary. I remember it well.
All right. Thanks for being with us. We're out.